All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the University of Miami Rosenstiel School's open house for our Department of Atmospheric Sciences. My name is Heidi Van Buskirk. I'm a senior program manager here in our graduate studies office. I'm also an alum of our Master of Professional Science program, so I earned my MPS in Marine Conservation in 2020. We'll be sharing a little bit more information about that program this afternoon. But for now, we're very happy to have you all join us, and we have a great lineup of speakers for you today. You're going to get to hear from some of our wonderful faculty as well as some of our current students and alumni. If you have any questions throughout the event, please feel free to drop them into the chat. We'll be replying to some questions as we go, but we'll also have a bit of time at the end for a more open Q&A session. This meeting is also being recorded and it'll be available on our YouTube channel afterwards in case you missed anything or you just want to go back and review any information. So getting started with just a little bit of information about the Rosenstiel School. We're one of the leading academic atmospheric and oceanographic research institutions in the world. We're located out here on Virginia Key, just off the coast of downtown Miami, Florida, which makes us the perfect hub for the types of atmospheric research science that we do. We offer 3 different types of degrees across all 5 of our academic departments. So we offer a Master of Science, a Master of Professional Science, and a PhD. These are all 5 of our research departments. We're going to focus just on atmospheric sciences today, but if you have any questions or are curious about any of the other departments, feel free to check out the website or contact the program director listed below. So why study at the Rosenstiel School? There are so many amazing reasons, but we've tried to narrow it down to just 3 for the sake of time today. One of which is our expert faculty. You'll have the opportunity to work with faculty at the top of their fields. We have some really unique facilities and we have a really diverse community. So you'll have the opportunity to develop friendships and collaborate with faculty, researchers, and students from across the globe. Students who earn their PhD here at the Rosenstiel School are guaranteed up to 5 years of support, which includes salary and 100% tuition waiver and health insurance. There is a QR code here to some of the PhD assistantships that we're offering, but we're going to talk about the atmospheric science ones specifically in just a moment. Before I pass it over to our first speaker, I just want to point out some deadlines here that are important to keep in mind. Our priority deadline for the PhD MS programs is December 1st. If you apply before December 1st, you'll have the highest chance of getting invited to our on-site recruitment weekend in February. Otherwise, our regular deadline is January 8th, and you can scan this code here for more information on how to apply. I don't want to take up any more time, so I'm going to pass it over to Professor Cassie Gaston, who's going to start us off with some assistantships. Cassie, go right ahead.
Sure. So hi, everyone. I'm Cassie Gaston. I'm faculty in the department, and I'm also the graduate program director for the department. So I also handle a lot of questions you might have about how the program works, the TA-ship requirements, etc. So please feel free to reach out to me about those questions. I'm just going to share a few slides to give you a flavor of what the type of research is in my group. So we do all field measurements and lab measurements. And we do measurements primarily focused on understanding atmospheric transport of dust and smoke, which are important aerosols that can affect atmospheric radiation, clouds, and biogeochemical cycles, which is a big emphasis of what I'm interested in. This is our primary facility. So this is in Barbados. James has been there for a small field stint. And we're mainly after questions in Barbados related to dust transport, which is something you can see here in this dust plume. And the main reason why we focus on this is because the dust is thought to be really important for tropical cyclones, for clouds, for radiative forcing, and then also for biogeochemical cycles, which is important for carbon dioxide budgets, and then also for human health. So the projects that I have focused on that I've advertised are looking at the different aerosol types that are transported to this site, what that means for radiative forcing, and then also thinking about deposition of aerosols locally, actually in Florida, and thinking about their impacts on Everglades. So those are the 2 primary projects that I advertised. We also do some research in my group focused on halogen chemistry and its role in air quality. So thinking about places like Utah, where we have the Great Salt Lake, it's rapidly shrinking, and what that means for air quality. So those are some other projects that we're thinking about in my group as well. And with that, I will pass it on to the next person. Thanks.
Thank you, Cassie. Next up, we have Dr. Mary Beth Arcodia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Beth. I'm an assistant professor in the Atmospheric Science Department, but I'm also with the Frost Institute for Data Science and Computing. And this really summarizes the research that we do in my group, which is at the intersection of data science and climate science. And it's really using AI-based tools to help better our understanding of the climate system and ultimately improve climate prediction. And so I currently have two open PhD assistantships in my lab, and they both fall under the umbrella of climate predictability. We focus a lot on identifying what we call forecasts of opportunity or predictable states of the climate system that can then lead to not only improved forecasts, but forecasts with more confidence. And we use different AI-based tools, different explainable AI tools to actually quantify that confidence, pinpoint those predictable periods to ultimately make those forecasts of opportunity. So the first of the two projects is a collaborative project with the Rosenstiel School as well as the NOAA Climate Prediction Center. This is the operational forecasting team under the National Weather Service, and they make our subseasonal and seasonal forecasts. And they use a suite of different tools to make these forecasts, but they don't actually use any purely machine learning based tools. And so this project will be building out a machine learning based week 3-4 precipitation forecasting tool, specifically focused on the United States that, again, is not only quantifying just the accuracy of forecasts, but also working to improve our confidence in those forecasts in real time. And so ultimately, this tool is hoped to be used by the Climate Prediction Center in that suite of tools to actually be improving our real-time operational forecasts. This project is also, the position will be co-advised by Dr. Emily Becker as well. The second project also focuses on some of the same themes, but a bit broader scope and focus. And it is really focused on predicting heat stress for our Florida coral reefs right here off the coast of Miami, and actually looking to predict on multiple week timescale when there will be heat stress that's actually harmful to corals. This is, again, a collaborative project with our Cooperative Institute of Marine and Atmospheric Studies, CMIS, across the street, and will be building out a machine learning based prediction tool for these actionable type timescales for conservationists to be helping um, to to take action before there's heat stress that causes long-term or permanent damage. So those are the two positions that I have open. And it's good to see all of you here, and I'm excited to hear more about the different projects that we have going on. So thank you, Heidi, for organizing this.
Of course, thank you so much, Mary Beth, for the information. And our next speaker, we're going to pass it over to Dr. Siwan Wang, who's going to tell us about a position he's offering in his lab.
Can you hear me? Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool, awesome. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And my name is Siyuan Wang, and I'm associate professor here. And I'm going to switch gear and talk a little bit about wildfires. So generally speaking, air quality in the United States have been improving over the past decades, thanks to efforts like Clean Air Act. although studies have definitely shown that the wildfires in the western United States have likely offset decades of air quality gains. The wildfires have a great major impacts on weather and climate systems. As a result, wildfires have become a growing concern. So at this point, we sort of entered uncharted waters here. The wildfire signals, as seen from space, are so intense that the seasonal variabilities of many of the pollutants have profoundly changed. In the meantime, we frequently experience record high ozone and particulate matter pollutions these days. For instance, the 2023 Canadian wildfires caused extreme pollution in the United States. As you probably have guessed, the air pollutants do not respect political boundaries. A bit more for your shower thoughts. You can choose what water you drink, what food you eat if you're privileged, but mostly you cannot pick what air you can breathe. So people have been using numerical models to study wildfires for decades. However, it remains very challenging to represent wildfires in our current modeling frameworks. And one key reason is that the model grids are much bigger than fires. So put it differently, the model resolution is not high enough. Here I'm borrowing my daughter's toys to demonstrate a resolution effect. With coarse resolution models, the plume dynamics cannot be explicitly resolved. Of course, people can always ask for more, but when it comes to model resolution, how high is high enough? So here on the left-hand side, I'm showing basically the state-of-the-art fire weather model, which is operated at a 3-kilometer resolution, which is generally considered as a fairly high resolution already. On the right-hand side, you can see what a 3-kilometer grid box looks like near a fire plume from a moderate-sized fire. Most of the fires out there are smaller than this one. So in our recent work, we used a high-resolution turbulence resolving large eddy simulation model combined with comprehensive airborne observations to demonstrate the impact of wildfire plume dynamics on fire chemistry. And we showed that the impacts of most wildfires on air quality are likely biased in current forecasting systems because the resolution is not quite there. So how can we fix the problem? Well, this is perhaps where AI can help as well. So here's an example of a recent study of mine showing basically a machine learning emulator for a wildfire plume rise trained using a physics-based high-resolution model. So the emulator is showing very promising potentials and with improved accuracy and computational efficiency as well. So, okay, now so much for the background and motivations for the wildfire-related work in my group. So we have a one PhD position opening for fall 2025, and the topic it's quite flexible, and may include fire weather, fire plume dynamics, and fire impacts on air quality, weather, and climate, very broadly defined. So the ideal candidate should have a strong background in atmospheric sciences, meteorology, data science, or related to physical sciences. And proficiency with a programming language such as Python is definitely highly desirable. And the students will also have the opportunity to work with state-of-the-art models and observations, and also the opportunities to collaborate with scientists at NOAA and NCAR. And if you are interested in finding more details, I have a QR code for my website. And thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wang. Appreciate that. Next, we have one of our PhD students, James Christie, who's going to tell you just a little bit about some of his research and his experience as a PhD student here at the Rosenstiel School. James, go right ahead.
Hi, I also have a little slide that I'm going to pull up. I'm not going to be talking to you all about science, just a little bit about what it's like to be a graduate student in the program. So I'm James Christie. I'm a PhD candidate in Cassie Gaston's lab, so I'm on the chemistry side of things. My main research focus is on inland air quality in Salt Lake City, though my journey through the University of Miami has brought me to Utah, Barbados, as well as conferences in North Carolina, New Orleans, and other places across the United States. So as a student at the university, you're going to gain a really broad experience across the world. So as a student at UM, you're going to have to take a few classes that will really center you and make sure that you're a well-rounded atmospheric scientist. But the program's pretty small. There's usually about, I think, Cassie, we have like 30 PhD students right now. A pretty small cohort of people that's really tight-knit. So within my cohort, for instance, two of our PhD students, Will Dowse and Aidan Mahoney, work together to formed this large project about understanding tropical cyclone genesis using AI. For my experience at the university, as an atmospheric chemist, I've gotten to work with people at the University of Michigan, University of Utah, University of Washington, as well as a bunch of other people across the United States and the globe, which has resulted in several field campaigns. One of the really awesome parts about the University of Miami Rosenstiel School is that they put a lot of effort into supporting student growth and well-being. We have a state-of-the-art computational center. So if you want to get into machine learning, you can work as an iDisk fellow, which is a competitive fellowship that your advisor might encourage you to apply to in your early years here. But you can also visit the Writing Center to learn amazing writing techniques, participate in the Dallas Murphy workshop, which will help you form your first manuscript. We have a really amazing career center at Topple. So when you're reaching the end of your PhD, they'll help guide you to your next step along with your advisor. But we also have this really small campus feel. That means you're going to get to know all of the professors in your department as well as cross-department. So, I mean, Siwan and I were just emailing this morning about collaborating on a project to figure out how pollutants form in Salt Lake City, which is giving me the ability to learn modeling, which I haven't learned yet. Outside of campus, the students are very tight-knit and work really closely together. So you can find yourselves in your own little Rosenstiel bubble across the city of Miami, where you'll make lifelong friends and collaborators. I mean, outside of that, I can speak to the research experience here. You're getting state-of-the-art facilities and professors who are at the top of their field. So Cassie has given me the opportunity to participate in several field studies, which have taken me across the globe. So I would definitely, you know, if you're looking for a top-notch PhD program, recommend you come to the city of Miami. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. So that was just a little bit about some of our PhD assistantship opportunities that we have. And now we're going to switch gears just a little, and we're going to talk about our Master Professional Science program, or our MPS program. So just a brief background for those who might not be familiar with the MPS program or an MPS program in general. So this is an innovative and flexible master's degree. It culminates in an internship-based final project that can be focused on research or professional skills. So rather than doing one-on-one research with the faculty the way you would in a traditional MS, you're doing an internship-based final project. It's designed for students who want advanced career-oriented training in marine, earth, and atmospheric science. So students who might not necessarily want to do research themselves, but maybe want some science careers in industry, government, nonprofit organizations. It's really great for students who want to go into science communication, education, outreach, fields like that. But we do have students that do a more traditional research route within this degree. So it's very flexible. We offer full and part-time enrollment. Full-time enrollment would involve about 2 to 3 semesters of coursework in addition to about a 3 to 6 month internship. Overall, the program is 30 credits required to graduate, so that would be about 24 course credits and 6 internship credits. If you want more information on the MPS program, you can scan this QR code right here. The MPS, the MPS as well as our MS degrees are all self-funded, but we do offer some funding opportunities for students applying to the MPS program. So one of those is our merit-based tuition waivers. We offer either a 3 credit or a 6 credit. This is based either on solely your GPA, or you can combine your GPA and GRE. We don't require GREs for admission, but if you want to use them to boost your chances of getting into the program or chances of getting in a merit-based tuition waiver, you're able to take that. We also offer the MPS Outstanding Applicant Award. This is a 24 credit award, and if you apply before March 1st, you'll be invited to apply for this. There's more information here on this QR code about financial aid and the cost of attendance, so you can check that out there. We offer 15 MPS tracks across all 5 of our research departments, so there is something for everybody. Today, for the Atmospheric Science Department, we're just going to focus on our ATM MPS track, so that would be Broadcast Meteorology, Climate and Society, and Weather Forecasting. A few important deadlines when applying to the MPS program. So we have a new priority deadline this year of January 15th. So students who apply before the January 15th deadline will have the highest chance of getting into their first track of choice. You're able to select two tracks of choice that you would like to study on your application. You'll also have the highest chance of being invited to our new Rosenstiel MPS preview weekend in March. So during this new preview weekend, you'll have the opportunity to come visit us in person in Miami, visit our campus, talk to our faculty, our students, and learn a little bit more about the program. So it's a really awesome opportunity. More information on how to apply can be found at this QR code. It's also going to be on the next slide here. So we're evaluating your application based on the following. So it's very similar to how we're evaluating PhD applications, but we're evaluating your admission based on your GPA and your transcripts, 2 letters of recommendation, a statement of purpose. Again, GRE scores are optional. They can help with some funding opportunities and things like that. And for international students, we do require a TOEFL and a transcript evaluation. Again, more information can be found at this QR code. We're also always available to answer any questions through info sessions or by email as you're filling out your application. So our website is earth.miami.edu, and if you head over to the right-hand column, there's a little few boxes to request info, visit, or apply. If you select number 3, apply, it'll bring you to all of the application instructions, prerequisites, requirements, and everything like that. Okay, next I'm going to pass it off to our first MPS track leader, Professor Lisa Murphy-Goes. She's going to talk a little bit about our broadcast meteorology MPS.
Thank you, Heidi. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see my slide. Take that as a yes. Okay, so I am the new track leader for the MPS Broadcast Meteorology program. I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Atmospheric Science and also the program director for the undergraduate meteorology major. So I primarily work with undergraduate students, but also have a variety of different MPS students in my advanced weather forecasting courses that I do teach on the Rosenstiel campus. Our MPS track is an accelerated master's track, so you can earn your master's degree, your MPS degree, in as little as 12 months, taking the 24 course credits that Heidi mentioned, in addition to the internship credits. We often have students who are working part or full-time through this, so depending on, your status and how many courses you can take per semester, it might lead to, more semesters here at UM. Students have done their internship through their jobs, especially if they are already working at a news station, but we do have lots of local TV stations and collaborations or partnerships with people who are working in media here in Miami. In addition to our NOAA labs that are across the street from the Rosenstiel campus, as well as the National Weather Service and National Hurricane Center here in Miami. Our curriculum, we have an interdisciplinary curriculum, so it gives students the opportunity to take different atmospheric science classes, as well as classes within the journalism and the School of Communications. We have our local American Meteorological Society student chapter, as well as a local professional chapter here. We just had a group professional chapter meeting at the NBC6 news station. We were welcomed by TV meteorologist Ryan Phillips, who also teaches one of the broadcast meteorology classes that our students can take here. In addition, we have the award-winning TV station studio in the School of Communications. So we have many students, both undergraduate and graduate, who can get involved in the different programs that they have, including News Vision, as well as our weather show, Canes Cast, that just won an award, the Max Weather Award from the Weather Channel, on their graphical design and viewer relatability. So students can get a lot of hands-on experience in the TV station through these different TV, news programs that we have. Prerequisites are any bachelor's degree. It could be a BA or a BS in any fields, although we do have the calculus requirements, and a minimum of 12 credits in natural sciences is strongly recommended in order to take our upper level classes that we offer at the Rosenstiel School. But really, there's a lot of flexibility. So, depending on if you have a background in journalism or communications, or if it's in some STEM field, right, we can kind of swap the different courses that you could take. So, cross-disciplinary with Rosenstiel courses in weather forecasting and dynamics or general circulation if you meet those math requirements. Or we have other options to take courses in our environmental science and policy program department. So you could take more courses on environmental science and sustainability, especially if you are involved in communicating weather and environmental issues through the news. We also have those upper level journalism classes through the School of Communications, so we have a great relationship with them. So depending on your needs, right, we can try to tailor the curriculum to that. We have students who have gone on to have careers at the Weather Channel. We have contacts, all around the world or around the country. So often they are broadcast meteorologists serving on air. Our courses can try to help you get certified, the AMS certification in the broadcast meteorology through these advanced classes. However, it does require those math prerequisites in order to take the upper level, atmospheric dynamics and other meteorology classes. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have on those either later, or you could feel free to email me. My email address is lmurphy@earth.miami.edu. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Our next speaker is Dr. Amy Clement. She's going to tell you a little bit more about our Climate and Society MPS track.
Hey everyone, you can see my screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm a professor. My name is Amy Clement. I'm a professor in the Atmospheric Science Department. I am one of three track leaders of this unique track that is actually cross-departmental. So there's myself, Dr. Katie Mock, who is the chair of the Environmental Science and Policy Program, and Dr. Brian Soden, who is also in atmospheric science. So the track is a unique blend of both physical science. That's what you see shown on the left here is our atmospheric science department, where you've heard already a lot about the research that we're doing here on physical climate and chemistry, and with a blend of taking advantage of the environmental science and policy program that we have on the right, where we're preparing students to look for or to we're training students to work at the nexus of the research to practice around climate impacts and how to respond to them and adapt to them in order to be fully prepared. So our students are the student background, we expect a bachelor's degree in any field. We have had students in a wide range of fields from physical, biological sciences, as well as environmental science, and including the humanities. We Our classes are focused on both the physical science side and on the social science side, the tools needed in order to address the coming climate risks. We have a very flexible curriculum. We only have two required classes, and we adapt the courses based on the career goals of the students that are in the courses. The students in our program have gone on to careers in a wide range of fields. That includes working for the National Park Service, working for local and regional governments, working on climate adaptation, or working for the federal government. We have students that are engaged in both research, but primarily in internships that are practice-based. So I currently have an MPS student who is working in a partnership between the University of Miami and Miami-Dade County and a local nonprofit organization called Catalyst Miami. And she has been working on two projects, which are helping the county develop a inventory of all the programs available to make housing and safe housing and affordable weatherization programs for local homeowners and renters. And she's also been working with Catalyst Miami, looking, for example, at developing market or advocacy materials for them to address issues around electricity cutoffs and extreme heat seasons in South Florida. So it's just one example of an internship, an ongoing internship right now. We've had students doing research, some of them with the faculty members you've seen here on atmospheric chemistry. Some have worked at the Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory, which is a NOAA lab across the street from University of Miami that you heard about earlier. We have had students doing outreach for them. Many of our students are interested in science communication and outreach, and so we have opportunities to learn for that and internship opportunities for that as well. So I will just close by saying there is a growing job market in climate resilience, climate response, and adaptation. And this includes the public sector, local, the private sector, and local and federal government agencies, nonprofits, think tanks, and community organizations. And they're all looking for people who are trained on both the science and the social science that support adaptation to coming climate risks. So thanks, everybody, and I'll hang around here for questions after as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Clement. Next, we're going to hear from one of our students in our Climate and Society track, Christy Fayed Martinez.
Okay. Hi everyone, thank you so much, Heidi, for having me. I used to be a student. I graduated the MPS a few years ago, but I figure I'm very thankful for this invitation. I really like the MPS. Currently, I'm a PhD student at the College of Engineering, but when I did my MPS at Rasmus, it was probably sometime during mid-COVID, probably. But my life within the MPS, I think, was very unique. The MPS provides a platform and a program that if you're not really sure if you're going to go into research or if you're really more interested on the application side of science, I think the MPS Climate Society's track that I did, it's very welcoming in that sense. I think I saw a few of the one of the questions regarding the students was like, can we do research-based internships? And the answer is yes. I was actually one of those that did the research internship with Cassie, actually. She was a great advisor during that time. So if you do have an idea when it comes to like research, the MPS track really can guide you in that sense. But also if you want to go towards the more applicable and nonprofit side of it, then you also have that. The beauty of the MPS is you kind of have like a big network, and you can reach out to any of the faculty members that can get you on that. Actually, my friend back then, Rain, she actually did outreach science, so you do have those different variables on that. I think one of the biggest things that I get asked about the MPS, how it is for an international student. I'm from Mexico, so obviously that transition can be a little bit complicated, but the MPS office overall was extremely helpful. They send you everything that you need to know. And one thing to consider is that the MPS, it's a fast type of program. It's not like the PhD, which you have a few more years, or an MS, which is like 3-4 years. The MPS is quick, right? It's like almost a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. So because it's quick, having that direct connection with the MPS office is crucial, so you don't forget deadlines, you are on top of everything, including all the paperwork that's required. So that was something that I really appreciated from the MPS office. That was super helpful as transitioning from international to local, and then also in the process of graduating and things like that. So yeah, I think the MPS overall, I think it's very unique in that sense, and I definitely recommend it if you're into more on the application side of things. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I really, really liked it. So, thank you.
Awesome, Christy. Thank you so much for sharing your experience in the MPS program. I'm so sorry I misread one of the notes on my schedule. So yeah, you are an alum of the MPS, not a current student. Next, we're going to hear from another one of our alumni, Emily Boulder. Emily, take it away.
Hey everyone, apologize, my Wi-Fi is a little bit spotty, so let me know if I'm cutting out at any point. But yeah, I'm also a graduate of the MPS program for Climate and Society. I graduated back in 2018. I currently work at the City of Baltimore's Department of Transportation as a grants manager, where I started in June of this year after 6 years with the Environmental Protection Agency working on a variety of different projects related to climate adaptation and greenhouse gas mitigation. And as far as the MPS program, it really was a great gateway for me personally. I think Christy kind of touched on. I have a friend who it was a gateway for her to get her PhD, and for me, it was a gateway for me to get a job. So I'll be talking more about that. And so the great part of Climate and Society program is that you get to take a wide range of classes, which Dr. Amy Clement already went over, which I had the pleasure of taking one of her classes while I was there. And it both goes over the science behind climate change and on policy and communication solutions. While I was there, I reached out to Dr. Cassie Gaston to work in her atmospheric chemistry lab since I graduated with a BS in chemistry. And so I wasn't really sure at the time whether I wanted to go the research route or I wanted to enter into the workforce. But while working in her lab, I started to collaborate with one of her colleagues who worked on Arctic cloud seeding, which allowed me the opportunity to go on a 3-week research cruise in the Arctic Ocean as part of my graduate internship, collecting samples on a Coast Guard icebreaker. So really like a once in a lifetime experience, thanks to Cassie and Rasmus. And then after I graduated, I actually did an internship with the American Meteorological Society where it was in Rasmus in Dr. Amy Clement's class that I met the director, Paul Higgins, and I did an internship with him. So overall, Rasmus and the MPS program helped me be a competitive new graduate entering into the workforce, which led me to my first job at EPA. And yeah, again, I'm still good friends with some of the graduate students that I graduated with. It was only a year, but you really do, because it is just that year that you're there. You form a tight-knit community, and I'm lucky enough to still be friends with some of those folks. Again, graduated in Climate and Society with a friend who went into climate communication, got her PhD, and now works at a nonprofit geared towards climate communication. And then also had a bunch of friends in the more ocean-related MPS tracks, and have a friend here in Baltimore that works on GIS at NOAA. So really is a great opportunity to either go more towards research if that's what you decide, or you can go straight into the workforce like I did. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily, for sharing your experience. So we're going to get into our final MPS atmospheric science track, which is weather forecasting. And I believe we have Professor Shravan Majumdar to talk about that.
Okay, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. I just have this one slide here. So thank you all for joining. And I'm the professor in atmospheric sciences, like Amy Clement and Lisa Murphy-Goes, who you heard from earlier. And I'm also the leader of the weather forecasting track. And so here, the main goal of the track is to prepare students for entry into the profession of weather forecasting. And that really covers the public and private sectors and also many different applications. So we think a lot ourselves just as having the public prepared for, hurricane impacts or other types of severe weather. But then it also expands a lot beyond that too, through emergency management, sort of farming, agriculture, different types of utilities, like when there's a surge in air conditioning. The financial sector, such as insurance, it's very connected there, and also transportation, like aviation and shipping. And of course, it's very important for the construction industry. And there are many other applications. And so with our track and with the internships, that they can focus on various aspects of weather. They could be severe weather or marine weather, which of course we have here by the coastline. Hydrology, flooding from rivers, and then of course being in Miami, tropical cyclones. That we have a very strong relationship with the National Hurricane Center and also the NOAA Hurricane Research Division, who are across the street from here. And so a lot of our internships are set up with forecast offices or research centers, or several of these different parts of the industry. In regard to prerequisites, that a bachelor's degree in meteorology is preferred, but it's not obligatory. The website might say that it is, but we actually admitted last year a student who came from chemical engineering from Puerto Rico, and she didn't have a meteorology background, but she joined the weather forecasting track and has just done really well. That she's actually giving her internship presentation in about 20 minutes from now. And it was a really nice internship with some of our newer faculty on marine and atmospheric chemistry and collecting data and doing data analysis there, which is another evolution in the career path. That it doesn't have to be forecasting, that it could be, water or air quality, for example. And the background's generally sort of mathematics and physics, but also, one can come in with other backgrounds too as well. But really, it's sort of a healthy attitude, a lot of enthusiasm for the field, and we can definitely sort of chat as we go along. So that's all that I have for the track. But I'm happy to stay around and take any questions before I go off to Vanessa's internship presentation. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Majumdar. And finally, we have Peyton Collada, who's going to tell us a little bit about her experience in the weather forecasting MPS track.
Hello, everyone. I am Peyton Collado, and I graduated in 2023 with an MPS on the weather forecasting track. And I am now a marine meteorologist for Royal Caribbean Group. When I first started my master's at UM, I was a bit nervous and timid because I came directly from a math and physics background, and the rest of my peers all had an undergraduate degree in meteorology. And I actually remember Lisa was one of my professors for advanced weather forecasting. And I remember after my first class, I went to her and I was so nervous, and I was like, I don't want to fall behind because there's some conceptual stuff I'm lacking. And she reassured me, and she told me, you made it here. We believe in you. And everything ended up working out better than I could have imagined. And I remember after classes meeting with my fellow students, and I would help them with some of the equation and math stuff, and then they'd help me with stuff that I wasn't understanding. So it was I loved how team oriented all the classes were. And all of my professors were incredibly encouraging and inclusive, and I loved how the classes were very interactive, and I never felt like I was asking a stupid question. I have the University of Miami to thank for where I am today, thanks to the MPS track. Part of the MPS track is having an internship project or research-based, and I had the incredible opportunity to be an intern at the National Hurricane Center. I got to shadow over 40 shifts in the Hurricane Specialist Unit and in the Tropical Analysis and Forecast Branch, and had the opportunity to shadow a Hurricane Hunter mission into Hurricane Idalia. Part of my internship at the National Hurricane Center, I would, the first month or two, I was shadowing how they created the forecast package. And then towards the end, I was actually able to help write forecast discussions, create the forecast track and intensity. And in collaboration with the National Hurricane Center and the University of Miami, my project was to create a climatological data set for the North Atlantic tropical cyclones wind radii. And this project is something that I'm incredibly proud of, as the data has been getting recognized in the National Hurricane Center forecast discussions to communicate storm size risks to the public. And when it came time for looking for jobs, I actually received an email from the University of Miami listserv, where my now boss was looking for a meteorologist to join him at Royal Caribbean Group, where I am now working today. And so everyone at UM was so helpful, and the MPS track is really great with keeping you on your deadlines. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Peyton. And again, all of these folks will be in our chat to answer any questions that you have about anything that they talked about today. So that's all that we have for our formal programming. So we'll open it up for a Q&A session. I just want to share a few more QR codes with you for some helpful information as you guys might be starting your applications. So for more information, we have virtual information sessions with myself, two other members of our MPS office who are also alum, and a few current students. So if you'd like to sit down and talk one-on-one with somebody for 15, 30 minutes, you can schedule a virtual information session here. We also offer in-person on-campus tours to come visit our Rosenstiel campus out here on Virginia Key. So if you have some time in your schedule and are able to get down to Miami or you're in the area, please come visit us in person. You'll get to see all of our facilities, our waterfront campus, our labs, all of our spaces for our students. It's a really, really great tour. It's only about an hour, so it's not too much of your time, if, like I said, if you're in the area or if you're around. And lastly, this last QR code is to the contact page for all of our faculty that you met here today in our Atmospheric Sciences department. So they all have emails and phone numbers. So if you have any follow-up questions afterwards today, you can find all of their contact information right there. Well, I'll open it up for the Q&A portion. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to, I guess, either drop them in the chat or feel free to use the raise hand function and you can unmute yourself and ask them verbally if you would like. But we'll go right up until 1 o'clock with this. I did see that somebody had a question about the merit-based tuition waivers, the 3 and the 6 credits. So I guess I will just cover that quickly now. Let me bring up the slide where I had those so I can kind of break it down for you guys to understand the credit waivers. So the merit-based tuition waivers, we offer a 3 credit or a 6 credit. And it's based on either your GPA only or a combined GPA and GRE. So to earn a 3 credit waiver, you would have to have either just a 3.3 GPA if you're not choosing to take the GRE, or a 3.0 GPA with a combined GRE score of 297. And that's automatically applied to your account when you submit your MPS application. So we look at your transcript. Whether you're just applying the GPA or GRE, we'll evaluate that and we will credit you the 3 credits. So that's 3 credits that you don't have to pay tuition for. Similar with the 6 credit, we automatically evaluate that, and that's 6 credits that we will give to you automatically off of your tuition. For the 6 credit, you have to have a threshold of a 3.6 GPA if you're only going by GPA, or a 3.3 GPA in combination with a 308 on the GRE. So I hope that was clear. If you have other questions about that, please feel free to ask in the chat. We're allowed. I see that Ryan McMullen has his hand raised. Ryan, if you want to unmute and go ahead and ask.
Yeah, Heidi, thank you for hosting this open house. I think it was really informative. I was curious, early in the presentation, you showed a QR code linking to available PhD assistantships. They seem like most of them are in the atmospheric science department. I was curious if that was just by coincidence or if there's a separate link for more biology-focused research opportunities.
All of the assistantships that we have listed are going to be on that page. So that is for all of our departments.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the chat, just trying to see if we have any other questions. I see Alexander Garber has a hand raised. Alexander, you can go ahead.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? First of all, thank you guys for doing this. I think this was really interesting and definitely insightful. I've applied to the PhD program, and my area of interest has always been hurricanes. So I think one of the really cool things is that, University of Miami is right by the National Hurricane Center. So can you just tell me a little bit more about some of the collaboration opportunities that might be possible? Since I think that's one of the things that's just really unique about your guys' location,
Yeah, sure, I can jump in there. Yeah, nice question. So one example, and James Christie alluded to it a little bit earlier, is that we have one student, Aidan, who actually works as a NOAA Pathways intern at the National Hurricane Center. And then my own PhD student, Will Downs, who works on my grant, together they identify that, we need a better technique to track waves, and let's try and use some AI to sort of figure that out, to track the waves that move across Africa. And so Will developed the technique, and he sort of tested it, and then it went into a little bit of more formal testing at the National Hurricane Center against their current tracker, and then it just got adopted as an operational tracking technique. So that's a nice example of a PhD student contributing pretty directly to the National Hurricane Center's operations at a fairly early career stage. So yeah, we like to have these opportunities for collaboration. Several Hurricane Center folks have come over here. Quite a few of our alumni in a PhD and MPS work at the Hurricane Center now. So we have a really nice relationship.
Cool. Great. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. That sounds amazing.
I'll paste a link to the story in the chat as well.
Okay, cool.
And we have another question in the chat. Could you talk a little bit more about the Outstanding Applicant Award for MPS? Are there any general traits, achievements you look for? Is it need-based at all? Sean, would you mind if I throw this over to you? Do you think you could talk a little bit about
Sure.
what we're looking for in the applicants?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sean Kennelly. I'm the Assistant Dean of the Graduate Studies Office. The MPS Outstanding Application Award is open to any of our applicants that are admitted to the program. So we're looking forward to seeing your application, and you'll be invited to apply for this award by March 1st. You will need to submit a personal statement with your personal reasons for requesting the award. And our committee that's determining the award is looking primarily on academic merit, but they are looking for students in financial need. But it is primarily an academic merit award. I don't have specific details because I can't speak on behalf of the committee that's making the decision. So we just encourage students with any kind of academic merit to apply for the award.
Great, thank you, Sean. Just looking for any more hands raised, any more questions in the chat.
There was a question about an example of an MPS being completed in just a year.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, yeah, Jordan. So going over an example schedule of an MPS being completed in just a year. So typically what the MPS program looks like for most students is we start everybody as one cohort in the fall, and we have you do 2 semesters. During the second semester is usually when students start to look for their internship. So students currently are kind of starting to get their resumes, application materials together now. They're either sending out applications to host organizations now, or they're waiting until January, February. Most students do have internships secured before they graduate or before they finish their second semester. And they're ready to start those right after the second semester ends. So that's typically around April, May. Some students start a little bit earlier. The internship has to be, I believe, like a minimum of about 3 months. Most students do between 3 to 6 months. It really depends on the internship that you're doing, the host organization that you're working for. It's going to vary a little bit when it comes to that. But for the most part, the 2 semesters of coursework are standard for all of our students. And then the difference in finishing time comes down to the actual internship that you're doing. So a good example of that would be myself. So for my internship, I did a communications internship over at NOAA's AOML, which we talked about a little bit earlier. And I worked doing their social media and web writing, but my position was contracted for a year. So I did not get to do a short and sweet 3 to 6 month internship. It was actually really great because I got more time in the organization. I got to create a really amazing network and do some work that I'm really, really proud of there. So I took a little bit longer. My program was technically 2 years, which is why we kind of give the length of about 12 to 18 months, just because it really comes down to that internship portion that you're completing. I hope that answered the question. I see, Jordan, yeah, you had a follow up in the chat. So it's about 12 credits per semester. And then you have 6 credits dedicated to your internship, but I believe 4 of those can be used as kind of flex credits. So if there's additional classes that you would like to take during the semester, you can use those 4 credits towards your internship, towards the classes. And then 2 of those credits need to be reserved for your internship just to maintain full-time status in the program. All right, we've got about 5 more minutes left if anybody has any more questions or anything to add from our faculty. Otherwise, this meeting's been recorded, so we're going to have this up on our YouTube channel, hopefully on Monday. I'll also send everybody a direct link to the recording who registered for the webinar today. But we want to thank all of our faculty. Sorry, Cassie, I see you have your hand up before I start wrapping things up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say also just keep in mind that Erasmus is a very flexible campus in terms of programs. So, don't feel like you're siloed and have to apply into something that's ETM related. I have students who are in the ocean sciences department who work in my lab as PhD students. Amy Clement frequently works with people in the environmental policy department. So there's a lot of synergies between the faculty in different departments. So you really can achieve something in a more interdisciplinary fashion applying for any one of our programs. So I think that's a really, really special aspect of being here.
100%. Thank you so much. I couldn't agree more. All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much to our faculty and our students that spoke. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. We are more than happy to help you along your journey to the Rosenstiel School. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.